The mockery of Earth. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was a place of power where empires spanning thousands of light years met to decide the fate of the universe. It was a place where only the strongest, the oldest, and the most advanced civilizations had a voice. And now, for the first time in history, Earth had arrived. A single human ambassador stood at the center of the vast chamber, surrounded by towering alien figures. Some had shimmering scales, others had metallic exoskeletons, and a few looked like living shadows. They represented species that had ruled the stars for millions of years. Humanity, by comparison, was nothing. Or at least, that was what the aliens believed. A deep, rumbling voice filled the hall. "Let it be known," the speaker announced, "that the species known as humans of planet Earth has been granted entry into the Galactic Council as an observer." Laughter rippled through the assembly. An alien with blue crystalline skin leaned forward, sneering. How amusing. A primitive species seeking a seat among titans. Another, a reptilian warrior with glowing red eyes, flicked his tail dismissively. What does Earth even offer? Metal ships? Slow weapons? Do they expect us to take them seriously? The human ambassador, Daniel Carter, clenched his fists. He had expected skepticism, but this was open mockery. Still, he kept his expression neutral. "Humanity has come to learn, to trade, and to contribute," he said, his voice steady. "We believe in cooperation." The laughter grew louder. A towering insectoid alien clicked its mandibles. "Cooperation," it hissed. "You are children standing among elders. What could you possibly offer?" Carter took a deep breath. He had been warned this would happen. The Council viewed humanity as nothing more than a curiosity, a young, fragile race stepping into a universe far beyond its understanding. But something wasn't right. The way the aliens spoke, their mocking words, their arrogance, it was too strong. It was almost forced. They weren't just laughing at humanity. They were afraid of something. A forgotten history. Far from the council chambers, in the deepest vaults of Earth's lunar archives, a discovery was about to change everything. Dr. Helena Vaughn, a lead historian, stared in shock at the ancient data file glowing on her screen. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. The file was old, far older than Earth's known history. It contained star maps. Maps that showed human colonies beyond the edges of explored space. But there was just one problem. These records were over 1,000,000 years old. Her heart pounded. How was this possible? The official history of Earth was clear. Humans had only reached space a few centuries ago. They had struggled to build their first ships, fought wars for survival, and had just recently made contact with alien life. But this file suggested humanity had been here before, that they had once been an ancient spacefaring civilization, that they had ruled the stars long before any of these alien empires. And then, somehow, they had lost everything. A silent threat. Back in the Grand Hall, the laughter finally died down. The council leader, a towering being of molten stone, leaned forward. "Ambassador Carter," he rumbled, "you may observe, but you will never rule. Your species is young, and you have no history among the stars." Carter's jaw tightened, but he nodded. For now. As the meeting adjourned, he caught a few alien delegates glancing at him, not with amusement, but with something else. Concern. They were hiding something. And soon, Earth would uncover the truth. Because history does not stay buried forever, and humanity's forgotten legacy was about to return. Echoes of the forgotten past. The digital archives beneath Lunar Command had been silent for centuries. No one had accessed the oldest sections of Earth's historical database in generations. Most believed it contained nothing more than dusty records, maps of early space exploration, outdated research, and long-forgotten missions. But tonight, the silence was broken. Dr. Helena Vaughn leaned forward, her eyes locked on the holographic display flickering in front of her. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through the data, her breath coming in shallow gasps. What she had found should not exist. The star maps were impossible. They depicted human colonies spread across the galaxy, planets marked with Earth's insignia, stations built on distant moons, routes that stretched beyond the known edge of space. And the most shocking part, the records were over 1,000,000 years old. Helena's mind raced. How could this be real? Humanity's official history was clear. They had only ventured into space a few centuries ago. According to every textbook, every sign, her hands moved faster, searching for more. If this was a mistake, there had to be an explanation. If it was real, then everything humanity knew about itself was a lie. Then she saw it. At the bottom of the file, a single phrase, written in an unknown dialect of ancient human language. The system automatically translated it. We were never the first. A chill ran down her spine. She had to warn someone. The truth reaches Earth. In New Geneva, Earth's capital, Ambassador Daniel Carter sat in his private chamber, replaying the events of the Galactic Council meeting. The laughter, the insults, the way some of the alien leaders had looked at him, not just with amusement, but with fear. They knew something, and they were hiding it. His communicator buzzed. He answered it, and Helena's face appeared on the screen, pale and shaken. "Ambassador, we have a problem." Carter frowned. What kind of problem? She hesitated, then sent him the files. A moment later, the holographic display in his room filled with the ancient star maps. His breath caught. This wasn't just a problem. This was a secret that could shake the entire galaxy. Carter stood up sharply. "Does anyone else know?" "Not yet," Helena said. "But if we found this, others will too." Carter's mind raced. This changes everything. The Council had mocked Earth, treated them like children. But now, the truth was clear. Humanity was not the newcomer. They were the returning power. And if the aliens were hiding this secret, it meant they had a reason to be afraid. A silent watcher in the dark. But as Carter and Helena spoke, far beyond the Sol system, a hidden presence listened. Deep in the void of space, an unknown station powered up for the first time in thousands of years. Ancient systems whirred to life, scanning the signals from Earth. A message flashed across the control panel in a language older than the stars. They have awakened, and far away, something stirred. Something not human. Something that had been waiting for this moment. The galaxy's greatest fear, the Galactic Council chamber, was unusually silent. For centuries, the Council had ruled with absolute confidence. The elder races had seen empires rise and fall, watched new species take their first steps into the stars, only to be absorbed, controlled, or ignored. Earth had been just another primitive world to them. Until now. A secret no longer buried. The news had spread faster than light. Whispers of ancient human colonies, ruins millions of years old, and hidden star maps now circulated through the highest ranks of the galaxy. Some species dismissed it as a hoax, a desperate lie from an insignificant world. Others knew better. In the darkened halls of the Council, an emergency meeting was called. The holographic forms of the most powerful rulers in the galaxy flickered into existence, massive insectoid overlords, beings of living metal, reptilian warlords whose species had conquered countless planets. And at the head of them all, High Chancellor Vorthan, leader of the most dominant civilization in known space. His voice, deep and deliberate, cut through the tension. The humans have uncovered something they were never meant to find. An uneasy murmur rippled through the gathered leaders. If these records are true, continued Vorthan, then humanity is not a young race. Asterisk, 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 they are an ancient one. And if they were powerful before, they can be powerful again. A reptilian general slammed his clawed fist onto the table. Then we must act, before they reclaim what they lost. The Council chamber erupted into argument. Some demanded Earth's immediate destruction. If humans had once ruled, they might seek to rule again. Others insisted that action would only confirm the truth and drive humanity to war. But there was one thing they all agreed on. If humanity remembered who they once were, the balance of the galaxy would be shattered. And none of them were ready for that. A false welcome. On Earth, Ambassador Daniel Carter received an unexpected transmission. The Galactic Council was sending a diplomatic fleet to Earth, not as conquerors, but as allies. Or at least, that was what they claimed. In reality, the Council had only one objective: make sure humanity never learns the full truth. Carter sat in his private office, watching the transmission. The Council's official message was filled with polite words and empty gestures, promises of trade, cultural exchange, and peaceful cooperation. But their true intent was clear. They were coming to contain humanity, to watch them, to control what they could and couldn't learn about their past. Carter exhaled slowly. The aliens still thought Earth was weak, that they could manipulate them, that they could keep the truth buried forever. They were wrong, because humanity had only just begun to remember, and Earth would not be controlled. Not this time. A silent war begins. Far beyond the edges of the known galaxy, in a long-forgotten sector of space, something shifted. Deep within the remains of an ancient human starbase, so old that even the Council had forgotten it, a beacon activated. It had been waiting for the moment humanity awoke again. A message pulsed out, traveling faster than any known technology, reaching distant systems untouched for eons. It carried only one phrase, written in the language of humanity's first empire. The lost children remember. The old ones must return. And in the darkness of space, something answered. Something that had never truly died. Something that was coming home. The return of the Titans. The diplomatic fleet from the Galactic Council entered Earth's orbit, their ships gleaming under the light of the sun. To the public, they came in peace. To the leaders of Earth, they came to contain. But they were too late. The Council's true intentions. In the war room beneath Earth's surface, Ambassador Daniel Carter and General Elias Monroe studied the fleet's formation. The Council claims this is a diplomatic visit, Carter muttered, watching as alien ships positioned themselves over key military installations. Monroe scoffed. Looks more like an occupation. They both knew the truth. The Council wasn't here to welcome humanity into the stars. They were here to stop them, to keep Earth weak, to make sure the past remained buried. But Earth was no longer a blind child fumbling in the dark. Because in secret, they had already unlocked the first pieces of their forgotten past. Ancient machines awaken. Deep beneath the Martian surface, a research team had made a discovery that defied logic. A facility, not alien, but unmistakably human, buried beneath the red dust for millions of years. Inside, they found technology beyond anything modern Earth had ever built. Massive battle stations, hyperspace gateways, and the remains of an ancient artificial intelligence, one that had been watching, waiting for its creators to return. As soon as the research team activated the first control panel, something stirred. Across the Sol system, long dormant stations powered up. Satellites, once thought to be mere debris, recalibrated and locked onto the Council's fleet. An ancient defense network, hidden in the asteroid belt, flickered to life. And in a vault deep beneath the lunar surface, a single forgotten warship, the last of the Titan-class dreadnoughts, began its reactivation sequence. Humanity's past wasn't just history. It was waking up. The first shot. Back in orbit, the Council's fleet prepared to send down their delegation. Their ships hovered over Earth, expecting a world still trying to understand its place. Instead, they received a message, one that none of them had ever expected. Across every frequency, in every language, a voice spoke. Humanity is not young. We have returned. And then, before the Council could react, Earth fired first. The hidden defense grid roared to life, launching hypersonic projectiles that ripped through the shields of the nearest alien warships. The Council fleet scrambled, This was not the Earth they had prepared for. Their diplomats shouted in confusion. This wasn't supposed to happen. Earth had always been a species of diplomats and dreamers, not warriors. But that was the greatest lie of all. Because before humanity had forgotten who they were, they had ruled the stars. The Titan's return. On the dark side of the moon, the dormant Titan-class dreadnought finished its reactivation cycle. Its hull, ancient but unbreakable, hummed as its engines engaged for the first time in millennia. Inside its control chamber, a holographic figure, an AI older than any civilization in the Council, watched the battle unfolding in orbit. It had waited for this moment, waited for its creators to remember what they once were. As the first Council ships began to retreat in panic, the dreadnought sent out a final chilling broadcast. The first empire of humanity was never truly gone. The Titans walk again. And in the heart of the galaxy, in the hidden places where the oldest species dwelled, others felt the signal. The universe had thought Earth was new. Now it would remember the truth. Humanity had returned. And this time, they would not be stopped. The awakening war. The universe had laughed at Earth. Now it was screaming. The Galactic Council's fleet, once mighty, once untouchable, was in full retreat. Their ships, designed for diplomatic intimidation, were shattered in seconds by Earth's ancient defenses. And it was only the beginning, because humanity was remembering. And the moment they did, war was inevitable. A war no one expected. Inside the war room on Earth, Ambassador Daniel Carter watched the battle unfold on massive screens. "We should stop," a general suggested. "We made our point." Carter shook his head. "No, we only started." The Council had come to Earth expecting weakness. They had come to control history. Instead, they had triggered something far worse. For the first time in a million years, the galaxy was seeing what humanity truly was. And it was afraid. The galaxy in panic. Across the stars, the news spread like wildfire. Footage of the battle above Earth reached every major empire. Planets that had once mocked humanity watched in silence. The elder races, the rulers of the galaxy, felt something they had not felt in eons. Fear. Because they all knew the stories. Legends of a lost empire, a species that had once held the galaxy in its grip, a species that disappeared long before the current rulers rose to power. That species was human. And they were back. The betrayal of the Council. Not all took the news well. Some alien empires, desperate to stop Earth before it was too late, gathered their fleets. Humanity had to be erased before it reclaimed its old strength. A coalition was formed in secret. They would strike first, before Earth could awaken fully, before humanity remembered everything, before it was unstoppable. The return of the fleet. But Earth wasn't waiting. The Titan-class dreadnought that had reactivated on the moon was not alone. Across long-forgotten systems, ancient human warships, dormant for millions of years, began to wake. An old beacon had gone out, a call to the lost warriors of the First Empire. And far beyond Earth, something was answering. A fleet was coming. A fleet of ships older than the stars themselves. A fleet that would remind the galaxy why it once feared the name human. The war was no longer about survival. It was about taking back what was lost. And humanity had never lost a war. The judgment of the ancients. The stars trembled. Across the galaxy, powerful empires, once rulers, once conquerors, now whispered in fear. The return of humanity was no longer a rumor. It was reality. And war had already begun. But as alien fleets gathered to strike first, as governments plotted to erase Earth before it could reclaim its past, something else awakened. Something older than any empire. Something that had been watching, waiting. And now it had come to judge. The Council's last move. On the capital world of the Galactic Council, panic filled the great halls. The Council's fleet had failed. Their so-called invasion of Earth had ended in disaster. Now, the ruling species of the galaxy faced a choice. Some, like the reptilian warlords of Drakkar Prime, demanded immediate war. We must burn Earth to the ground before they remember too much. Others, like the crystalline scholars of Zephyr, were silent. We should have never provoked them, one whispered. And then the alarm sirens blared. The Council's sensors detected a fleet approaching. But it wasn't the alien coalition. It was something else. Something from the void. Something impossibly human. The return of the lost fleet. A storm of energy signatures erupted from hyperspace. A fleet unlike any seen in a million years emerged. Their ships were black as the abyss, their hulls scarred from wars fought in forgotten times. They moved not with thrusters, but with ancient gravimetric fields, technology far beyond what modern species understood. And at the center of this fleet, a colossal warship loomed, larger than any station, larger than some moons. A single transmission pulsed across every communication channel. A voice, not robotic, not alien, but unmistakably human. You have forgotten the First Empire. We have not. The lost fleet of the ancient human dominion had returned. A galaxy forced to kneel. The Council world's defenses tried to respond. They failed. The ancient human warships disabled planetary shields in seconds. Their weapons, silent beams of black energy, bypassed every known defense system. The great fleets of the galaxy, ships that had once ruled the stars, were frozen in fear. Because this was no war. It was a reckoning. Earth's final choice. On Earth, Daniel Carter and General Monroe watched the unfolding event from their war room. The lost fleet had not come to conquer Earth. They had come to see if humanity was still worthy of its ancient throne. A message arrived from the fleet's flagship. A simple, chilling message. Join us, or be left behind. The war had changed. Now, Earth had a decision to make. Would they reclaim the empire they once ruled? Or forge a new destiny, different from the past? One choice would lead to domination. The other, to something even greater. The galaxy held its breath, and humanity prepared to answer. A new age begins. The galaxy held its breath. Across the void, in every empire, on every world, eyes turned toward Earth, toward the species that had once ruled the stars, the species that had disappeared, only to rise again. The lost fleet hovered over the Galactic Council's capital world, its weapons silent but its presence undeniable. The choice had been given. Join us, or be left behind. It was not a demand. It was an invitation, but one with consequences. Would Earth reclaim its ancient empire, or forge a new path among the stars? Would humanity rule once more, or prove that they had changed? The future of the galaxy hinged on their answer. The weight of 1,000,000 years. In the war room on Earth, Ambassador Daniel Carter and General Elias Monroe faced the greatest decision in human history. The transmission from the lost fleet's flagship played again, echoing through the chamber. The First Empire is not dead. The throne of humanity still stands. Take it. Silence followed. Then Monroe, the hardened general who had spent his life preparing for war, spoke first. If we do this, we rule again. His voice was steady. No species will ever challenge us. Carter, ever the diplomat, shook his head. If we do this, we repeat the mistakes of the past. Because there was something the lost fleet did not know. Something that Earth had remembered before them. Power alone had not saved the First Empire. It had destroyed it. The Council kneels. On the Council's homeworld, the surviving alien leaders stood before the humans they once mocked. Gone was their arrogance. Gone was their laughter. Now, they begged for mercy. We did not know, whispered the reptilian warlord of Drakkar Prime. We thought you were primitive, admitted the crystalline elder of Sci-Fi. We feared you, confessed the High Chancellor of the Council. Carter stared at them, his expression unreadable. Just days ago, these beings had mocked Earth, called them children. Now, they knelt before them. Monroe exhaled. We should take our place at the top. But Carter saw something different. A chance. An opportunity greater than conquest. The choice of humanity. The Lost Fleet expected war. They expected Earth to embrace its throne. Instead, Earth sent a message back. A single transmission, broadcast across the stars. We are not the past. We are the future. The Lost Fleet fell silent. And then, they bowed. For the first time in history, the warriors of the First Empire did something unexpected. They accepted that humanity had changed. The dawn of a new era. Earth did not take the galaxy by force. Instead, they built something greater. A new alliance where the strong protected the weak, where technology was shared, not hoarded, where humanity did not rule through fear, but through unity. The council was dismantled. In its place, a new order arose, one where all species, great and small, had a voice. And at its heart stood humanity. Not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as the guiding force that would lead the galaxy into a new age. And far beyond the stars, in places unseen, something watched. Something ancient, something that had once destroyed the First Empire. And it was waiting. Final words. Humanity had returned. But the war for the future had only just begun. And this time, they would not face it alone.